break it down, give you the scoop. Hold on tight, this ain't no ordinary loop. UFC's the battleground where warriors collide. Die Hard MMA podcast, we won't hide. Clint's gonna dig deep, analyze each brawl from the underdogs to the champions standing tall. The fury, let your instincts rise. Feel the adrenaline rush, it's time to defy. Die Hard MMA, we're in for the thrill. Get ready for the madness. Let's make that bankroll spill.
Happy Friday, degenerates! Welcome back to the undefeated post-weigh-in show, UFC Atlanta edition. How is everybody doing today? I hope you are staying hydrated. I hope your AC is working because it is hot as Satan's balls outside right now where I'm at. So I hope you guys are doing a little bit better than I am. What is up, chat? We got C-Dell hanging out, Mushroom MMA in the house, Blood and Beer, Cold Beast Saul, Action Jackson. What's up, everybody? Louis Mac rolling in the house. How we doing? Andrew, how about that? How about that? How about that? How do you say that? I don't know how to say your name. There's too many capital letters. What's up, everybody? As you know, this is the undefeated post-weigh-in show. Never a bad read made on this show. Never a bad bet. Not on this show right here. What we do is we take all the information we've learned throughout the week. We bring it to you. We break down these fighters on the scale, the weigh-ins, the face-offs, and we just use every last little tidbit of information we can. We give that to you so you can make informed betting decisions on Saturday for UFC Atlanta. And I've got a special treat for you guys this week. So as you know, we are friendly, we are adjacent with the Lambo Plays podcast, and our boy Narco Cop is headed out to Vegas as we speak to play in the World Series of Poker. And that affords us a very unique opportunity to bring in none other than Timothy Troiano, co-host of the Lambo Plays podcast, making sure you guys still get what you need this weekend. We're riding shotgun on the undefeated post-weigh-in show this week. Tim, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing awesome, Clint. It's great to be here with you. Thanks again for the invite, and let's get some money for these people here.
Hell yeah, man. That is what is up. So we're going to go ahead and break this card down for you guys. As you know, I've already broken it down forward and back with an excellent guest this week. That's live on my Monday show. Check out the live tab in the channel. So today, I'm going to talk to you guys about the weigh-ins and the face-offs. Tim can give a little preview if he wants to. There's no guarantees on anything. This is not the Lambo Plays. We're not taking its place, so he's not restricted to plus 300 plays. Tim can tell you guys whatever he thinks about these fights, but do us a favor and hit the like button, please. Let's get into it. First fight of the night. We've got women's MMA action. Jamey-Lyn Horth takes on Vanessa Demopoulos. And you guys know we've got a soft spot for Vanessa here on this show. She made a surprise appearance one time, and that was pretty awesome. Both women came in at 126 pounds. Vanessa doing her usual thing on the scales, looking good today. No problems. Jamey-Lyn Horth looks fantastic. She's got a very, very well built out frame. She's very large for the weight class, and my goodness, she is absolutely massive, Tim. Like, she is towering over Vanessa Demopoulos at these face-offs, and I swear I've seen this somewhere before, man. I don't know what to make of this fight. So I don't like this line. I talked about this on my Monday show. This line drives me nuts because I think Jamey-Lyn Horth should probably win this fight. She's a size bully. She's very, very strong. This is up a weight class on short notice. Literally, what is Vanessa going to do? We know she can't defend takedowns. She's going to end up on her back. Yes, she's a black belt. Against the smaller girls up at 115, she can defend arm bars all day unless you grab her gloves. So in this spot, though, she's just going to get knocked over. Like, Jamey-Lyn is going to be the bully on the playground with, like, her hand on her forehead and just do whatever she wants to her. So I don't want an old mid-level women's MMA fighter at minus 625, but here we are, man. Like, what is the other option here? What do you think of this fight? What are you doing here? And tell the people what the read is.
First of all, I'm probably not going to have any money on this fight unless I put lunch money on some gigantic props, which I think are the path for the underdog. To me, I just think obviously Horth is never a bet at minus 300 X, minus 3X. I think she's super low volume, and she doesn't necessarily use the size in fights in these situations. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's like, I just look at it like, if she tries to take her down, she probably can. I'm not guaranteed that she will. So if she doesn't, and this is 15 minutes of striking, should she win a striking battle being like, a foot and a half taller and having like a foot of reach? Yes. But we've seen this fight before. I mean, we've seen like Demopoulos just wins a lot of fights where she just doesn't win them. I mean, she wins them by split. She gets gross, ugly volume where she's just spamming empty volume and it works. And judges see it as actually like somebody doing something. So to me, I just think like, I don't know. I just look at it. I'm like, okay, what are the paths for Demopoulos? I think like armbars from guard, catches her in some greasy shit at like 20-1, and then 18-1 her to win by split. Like, I think those are fine. I think it's most likely a Horth decision, because Vanessa's pretty tough and pretty durable, and like you said, she's not getting subbed unless she's getting cheated against. But yeah, I think 20-1 and 18-1 on her win conditions for me is fine.
Okay, man. Does she get the stripper nod in Atlanta though? I don't know the scene very well, so I'm not entirely sure.
Well, here's the thing. I get that the stripper narrative is interesting. Always, it's a great call. These same judges that see her and go to her strip clubs in Vegas will also be the same judges that would see her in Atlanta. So yeah,
that's true.
I don't think that the judges change. So the fact that they do watch her in those situations, probably the same guys.
That is true. The judges travel with the UFC, and they're the ones who are making the decisions. So stripper equity may still be in play for us here. Man, the one thing that I would say I find a little bit interesting would be just like a referee mercy killing. I kind of like the late TKO props for Jamey-Lyn Horth. It's 8-1 for her to win by TKO as is. And then if you're looking at like the parlays, Jamey-Lyn Horth by KO TKO round 2, round 3, it's 22 and 30-1. Those are the ones where I'm like, just the size. You know what I mean? If she gets pinned up against the fence underneath this monster of a woman, and she just is like, you're physically no threat to me, she can start throwing bows. And at some point, the referee's going to have to step in and save this poor little girl that's trying to fish for arm bars or ankles off of her back like that. So I could see a TKO here from Horth, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that the size could be way too much, and she could probably advance positions if Demopoulos is so aggressive on the ground, which she probably will be.
Yeah. We'll see what happens though. That would, guys, honestly, I told Tim and I were talking backstage before we started the show. I have zero action this week. I don't have a single bet locked in. This is such a greasy, grimy week. And I know we talk about like untrustworthy favorites all the time and stuff like that, but this week maybe more so than ever. Like, these fights are hot garbage from a betting perspective. The guys that you really feel like you're good on are all minus 600, minus 800. They're not giving you a deal. The KO props are minus 250. I mean, like, they're taxing you for the stuff that we really feel like we've got a good read on. And then the other stuff is your classic cover your eyes and throw a dart like Jamey-Lyn Horth at plus 800, where it's like, it's got a shot, but do you really want your whole card to be made up of those kind of props? I've done that before, and my pockets have been turned out the last couple weeks. So I don't know how much action I'm going to have tomorrow, but we'll give you what we can here on the show. Next up, you've got Phil Rowe taking on Ange Loosa. Ange Loosa looks like an absolute beast on the scales today, man. That guy, I don't know how he gets that much muscle on that frame. He's got a full V-shaped back. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Mr. Wonderful Davis was the only guy that came close, but it still stopped like halfway down its torso. This guy is straight up a triangle. Phil Rowe looks like he's rocking the caveman do. He got sponsored by Geico in the offseason, I guess. Massive height advantage here in this spot as well. Phil Rowe always has that height and reach. He's always dangly and lanky, very tall, very long. He's got a quick right hand on him. He likes to play jiu-jitsu, but he's another guy that likes to go to his back. Ange Loosa, I still am not entirely certain what this guy is. I still don't know exactly what my favorite skill set of his is. Like, he's decent everywhere. He's one of these gym guys. They talk about how good he is, but it kind of hasn't translated to the UFC level yet at this point. I think Ange Loosa maybe be able to take some hit some takedowns here. So the minus 155 on Ange Loosa, I can't touch it. He's a dog type of guy. Like, I'm not betting on him unless he's plus money. So this would be like a mandatory dog or pass bet on Phil Rowe for me if I was going to play anything. I think Ange Loosa by decision might be something that could make sense, but I can't get out of my head the amount of times I've seen Ange Loosa hurt. So again, just Phil Rowe by KO, man, plus 500. Like, that's the long shot option that I'd be looking at here, because eventually somebody's going to clip Ange Loosa with something he can't come back from. Is it Phil Rowe? Maybe not. I mean, but you see in his last fight where Loosa got completely gassed out and was basically running for dear life against Reese McGee. I know Reese is a builder type of fighter, whereas Rowe tends to slow down and gas a little bit, but still, like, it just, damage eventually matters. You know what I mean? So it's Phil Rowe or pass for me. I hate this fight, man. What do you got here?
Yeah, I think this is giant douche first turd sandwich fight right here. This is again, we were talking before the show. This is I don't think this is really super good fight card for betting. I think it's very volatile. I think that probably my pick would be Loosa by decision, just simply because, I mean, the range, if he stands with Rowe, he's just a moron. You can count on him to go for like 2 to 3 takedowns per fight. And then Rowe's just not a guy that is trying to get up. Like, he's just going to be trying to throw up arm triangles, like just stupid shit. Like, he's going to try to throw triangles and fucking arm bars and stuff. And it's just like, I don't know. I just don't like his get up game at all. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you can rely on, the hips are right there. Like, he doesn't even need to make an effort to get to his hips. So I think Loosa by decision is probably the, chalky play at this point, but I think it's most likely what happens. I don't think Rowe's ever won a decision. I think that this is a fight that he could win a decision, but it's going to be based on just incredibly dumb tactics from Loosa, in my opinion, or just an inability to get him down, which I don't think is going to happen.
Which we have seen before. And Action Jackson in the chat says, Clint, without looking at the odds, you initially went Ange by decision. And yeah, that's my lean on the fight. That's what I think is the most likely outcome. Looks like that's plus 100. So bookies agree that's probably the most likely outcome on the fight as well. Tim also agrees that's the most likely outcome on the fight. It's just gross, man. It's just gross. Like, I don't want to be playing chalk numbers on Ange Loosa. It just is not something that I'm overly interested in. This is one of those fights where somebody somewhere is going to be right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know exactly what's going to happen here. There's a lot of options on the table for this kind of a low-level grimy fight, and somebody is going to be right, but it doesn't mean we have to bet on it, because you definitely could make a huge mistake here, put your money on a spot that had no shot walking in, because both these guys are so untrustworthy and you never know exactly what the game plan is. Oh, man. All right, guys, moving right along here. We have got a short notice replacement type of spot. Cameron Smotherman comes in here against Ricky Simone. 136 on the scales for both men. Smotherman actually looks pretty solid here weighing in. Ricky Simone always absolutely looks like a brick shit house up there. He's rocking the blonde again. Smotherman with the slight height advantage, but I don't know that that's ever mattered against Ricky Simone, especially if he comes out here with his singlet on, looks for double legs and takedowns. Man, I didn't do a whole lot of research on this one. I know Ricky Simone like the back of my hand, but Cam Smotherman is somebody who I actually have been just god awful with since he's made it to the UFC. He's 1-1 in the organization so far. He won his UFC debut against Jake Hadley. I was absolutely like running in circles talking about how this is Hadley's big spot to show that he's leveled up and he's proven that he can be here, and now he's in the PFL. So I couldn't have been more wrong about that fight. And then Smotherman loses his second fight in the UFC against Series City. He's a BTC prospect, actually. So shout out, you guys know Spectation Sports. That's where he came from. So good for them to go ahead and get a win there. But at 1-1, I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I expect Ricky to be able to grapple if he really wants to. He also seems to have found some new power in his hands, something we haven't seen a whole lot from him in his past fights. So interesting to see the late evolution from someone like Ricky in a spot like this. Man, again, I will pick Ricky Simone to go ahead and do the thing and show there's levels to this game, and I'll fade the short notice guy in Cam Smotherman. At -440, Ricky Simone is the pick for me. As far as what happens in the fight, I mean, again, it's honestly, I'm a violence guy. You guys know that. I like to look for subs. I like to look for knockouts. I'm always trying to make an argument for the exciting. But I feel like this is a grimy kind of card, and I think this is a decision. I think it's Ricky Simone by decision. +165 for a guy that probably will wrestle a whole lot in this fight. Doesn't sound that bad to me. Tim, am I missing something here? What do you like in this fight?
I mean, short notice. I feel like Series City he looked like prime GSP versus Cam Smotherman last fight. I just feel like Hadley didn't really try to get his grappling game going very, very much in that fight, which was very stupid. Cam, to me, I feel like is, if this fight is standing, his win percent, like his win path is if this fight is standing for 15 minutes. And again, Ricky is just going out with just the worst tactics ever. I feel like Ricky's better pretty much everywhere. I do feel like if he wrestles hard and goes after him, to me, I just feel like I don't disagree that the decision is like super, super viable if Smotherman can stay safe on the ground against him. I think I kind of lean like round 2, round 3, kind of just cooks him. Most likely a sub, in my opinion, if he keeps grappling him. I think that the grappling difference between these two guys is massive, and I just feel like there will be mistakes made where Series City didn't really make him pay for anything, that he was just taking him down at will, and he was just top timing him. So to me, I just feel like Ricky's way more dangerous on the ground, and if he gets it there, I mean, I think he'll eventually cook him.
Okay, fair enough, man. I could see that. And with these, I got to tell you, with these short notice guys, I've been struggling in 2025 just in general, but when it comes to the short notice guys, some of these people show up and just do the damn thing. And it's like, how did you roll off the couch and you're fine without a camp? And then other guys, they get cooked in 6 minutes because it's like, well, it makes sense, right? He didn't have a camp. He's on short notice. He's up a weight class, whatever. Like, I can't seem to get that right. So with a guy like Smotherman, I'm expecting Ricky to get the win, but the decision versus the sub versus does he ground and pound? Like, yeah, he could cook him. He could finish him. We could see a resurgence here from Ricky. That would not shock me whatsoever, but that explains why he's -440. Oh man. All right. Mark says, you would be proud, Clint. I hit Connor Hellebuck Hart Trophy at 150-1 last night. My God, Mark, congratulations. That's absolutely massive. That's freaking awesome, man. You do something fun with those winnings. 150-1 is freaking awesome. All right, guys, let us move this along, ladies and gents. Do me a favor again, please hit that like button. Make sure you're supporting our guy Tim online as well. We've got about 350 of you live going. Let's blow that thing up. It's Friday. We got fights. Let's go. Next up, we have got an absolute banger here. Jose Ochoa takes on Cody Durden. 125 for Jose Ochoa, who looks good on the scales here today. 126 for Cody Durden, who also looked pretty good. Both guys a little tired. They look like they're yawning in these photos. Now, Ochoa, a little bit of a size advantage here in this spot. I got to say, I love the raw confidence coming from a guy like Cody Durden. I really struggle with the Ochoa side of things on this one, Tim. Since the UFC is playing footsie with ESPN and they took down all of their fights and stuff like that, the most recent fights from Ochoa are off. You can't find them. You can't get them anywhere. So I've got Fight Pass. You can go back a little further. I wanted to watch his last UFC fight, but I wasn't able to locate it, unfortunately. So I'm a little bit out on just the basic knowledge of current form Jose Ochoa. So you might have to help me out just a little bit there. But I know he's a shoot the box guy, 24 years old. And I mean, all these guys are tough. They're always tough. They're hard to get out of there. His UFC debut was against Loner Kavanaugh. That dude's a stud. That dude's an absolute stud. But I'm working off memory for that fight, which is never a good thing to do. I kind of feel like Cody Durden is going to do the back against the wall thing in this fight. I know there's lots of other ways this fight can go, but I feel like he's going to go back to his base, which is his wrestling, and try to bank 2 rounds and then survive and make sure he gets his hand raised, keep his contract, keep his UFC job. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to go out there and point at the center of the canvas and swing and throw down the way he has in his last couple fights, because frankly, that hasn't been going very well for him. And I feel like if he relies on that grappling, he'll be able to vet less than a couple of these kids, So I don't want to shortchange Jose Ochoa, but at the same time, I kind of feel like Cody Durden's a little live here in this spot as a slight underdog. What do you make of this fight?
Yeah, I'm on the other side. I think Ochoa is pretty dangerous. I just think that every fighter from that camp fights the same way, and I just think it's pretty much it's just like a cookie cutter system, and you're just like, all right, what's the next breed? Get the next generation, same fighters. Same coaching, everything. Durable dudes fight. They're dangerous. They can finish in every facet of MMA. I think that Cody's like, he's dangerous and he's an underrated boxer. He needs to, obviously, with that being said, like, to me, I think he's a fighter that gasses out like a decent amount in fights, and typically you can rely on him to like fight through adversity, and his durability hasn't been an issue. But I think like Josh Van kind of broke his chin. Like, I think that him surviving that fight, and we just saw, I mean, like last week, what what Van did to Bruno. And it's just like, this dude's just taking guys' souls. So I think that he just basically pushed him to the edge of the cliff. And then I just think that this is a situation where you kind of like, I just think that these fighters, once their chin starts breaking and once their durability, and they were relying on their durability to win fights, I think it's pretty ugly for them in their later fights after that moment. So to me, it's like, I think that Ochoa can beat him and finish him standing and kind of finish him with power. And I also think that he could catch him on a front choke. That's more likely. I think later on, as the fight goes, as Durden gets tired, he probably shoots a shitty takedown and gets choked out.
Man, I could see it. That takes me back to my favorite days when Cody Durden absolutely hated me on Twitter because I kept saying he was going to get submitted. The dude should have gotten subbed by Jake Hadley. I still have never forgiven him for toughing his way out of that particular submission opportunity. So that wouldn't shock me one bit here. I do need to find some tape on Jose Ochoa. I need to go back and do a little bit more homework tonight and see, because man, he's only got 1 sub on his record. I know the shoot the box guys are super well-rounded. I know he knows what he's doing.
Did you see that sub though?
No, I can't remember it off the top of my head. So like I said, I'm going to have to go dig it up.
Yeah, go watch that one, because he basically he does the exact same thing. This guy's trying to push him to the cage, and then he just basically just lifts. He gets him in the choke, and he literally lifts him off the ground. And the guy's just like, yeah, it was pretty good.
Okay. Because, yeah, I mean, that's always my thing, is I can kind of count on Cody Durden to wrestle his way to gassing out later on in fights. And I've always looked at like the round 2, round 3 sub type props. So that wouldn't shock me in this fight. I just didn't have enough to say it, considering I haven't done my homework on Jose Ochoa. So I'll do a little bit more of that, and we'll see. Maybe we rock with the sub and just kind of lean on Tim here for this one, guys. And it's funny, Blood and Beer in the chat saying, it's okay, Clint. Faraz Zahabi hates me. Man, social media is like a double-edged sword. It's great that we can connect with these fighters that we are more often than not fans of, but it also kind of sucks when you say something about somebody who, again, you are a bit of a fan of, and then they see it and take offense to it. It's never fun when that happens, but always a little bit hilarious, because you got to eat crow when you're wrong. All right, guys, let's keep it moving along. Next up, you've got the return of Chris Moutinho. Congratulations on making it back to the UFC. Cage Titans, again, shout out Spectation Sports. A couple of Spectation Sports athletes going head-to-heads here on this one, you guys. Malcolm Wellmaker, they helped promote his MMA debut, so they claim him as their own. Pretty hilarious. But, man, another size difference type of situation here. Wellmaker, this kid is legit, man. Welcome to the big show, kid. I'm not sure what this is. The UFC signing another guy just to go out there on his shield one more time. Like, I love Chris Moutinho. He's fun. He's a great story. Everyone fell in love with him for taking an ass beating from freaking Sean O'Malley. But at the end of the day, I just don't think he's UFC caliber, man. And I think he's going to be small. And in this fight specifically, I think he's going to be slow. This is a Wellmaker by nuking. This is a highlight reel. Look, we got us another bantamweight type of moment. I just don't see how Moutinho survives the shots that are going to come his way from Wellmaker. It's Wellmaker however he wants to, in my opinion.
Nothing to add, really. I mean, Chris Moutinho needs to fire his manager immediately.
It's the UFC jumping, right? Like you can't take an easy route into the gang, so he's got to get jumped one more time. Hopefully they give him a better fight in his next one, because he's just going to be cannon fodder for some of these guys. I really think it's this is the one that I was kind of alluding to earlier, you guys. Wellmaker by KO is minus 330 on DraftKings. 3-1 on a KO prop. My God, like they're just making sure you can't make money on this fight. Can't blame them. Can't blame them, but there's no value to be had. So yeah, it's the big fave, probably round one. Next fight, we can move along. Court McGee, the Crusher himself, returns, and he looked pretty solid for a 40-year-old man up on the scale today. Taking on Michael Chiesa, who actually always looks very physically good. I do like the salt and pepper look in the beard. That's going to be something to look forward to for your boy. We've got Court McGee, who sizes up decently well enough. You know, Chiesa's a guy who really never should have been cutting down to 155. I still to this day don't really know quite how he pulled that off. He's filled out well up at 170 pounds. But dude, I mean, you've got a untrustworthy fighter who's now a little bit long in the tooth. Chiesa's 37 years old. There were all those rumors about him hanging it up and retiring, and he rattles off back-to-back subs against fossils, and now he's a massive favorite. And Court McGee, he's 40 years old, so what are you going to do with that? He kind of did the same thing where he got beaten up by a couple of younger guys, and then he subbed Tim Means, looked like $1 million in that fight, frankly. But it is really tough to out-grapple Court McGee, and I kind of feel like Chiesa at the end of the day is still a bit of a quitter. This is the ultimate dog or pass on this card, in my opinion. There's a couple of other greasy dogs that we can talk about. Like, you know, Paul Craig's always worth a sprinkle. But if there was someone I was really seriously considering taking a dog shot on this fight, it would be Court McGee at plus 280. I just don't know where Michael Chiesa is at. I don't know where his head is at. And I know Court is always coming to fight, and he is notoriously hard to out grapple. So, yeah, man, you and I briefly talked about this one before the show, but like I'm seriously tempted. Talk me off a ledge here, because I have no money invested on this card, and Court McGee is kind of the one spot that really, like, you know, through blurry drunken eyes, it's the chick at the end of the bar that looks good at the end of the night, and you know you're going to regret it in the morning.
Yeah, I can't talk you off the ledge in this one. I'm on the same ledge. I'm feeling like this has got to be it has to be a Court bet, and like to me, it's just what are the fights where Chiesa has shown like that he's going to pump out volume striking if this fight is standing for 15 minutes? The other situation is, like you said, I mean, like Sean Brady couldn't grapple fuck. Pardon if I can learn from Slaw to swear.
No, you're fine. You're go for it. Rip it.
He couldn't, like, we saw what he just did to Leon Edwards, and he was just not having much success with Court, and it was striking for pretty much the whole fight, and he won that way. And then you go to Court. I mean, like, Court's obviously old as hell, and he's like on his second life. So it's just like, okay, I get it. It's tough to bet these guys at this stage. I think Court won the fight that he lost versus Morono. I thought that wasn't a robbery, but I thought that he won that fight. It was a close fight. Yeah, if it's striking for 15 minutes, like, there's just no way that this line is right. If it's a grapple fest, then I think like Court could be successful in the grappling. Like, I think he could stay safe, not get subbed. I think he could get takedowns himself. I just don't think that this is like, I mean, they're lining it like it's like going to be easy grappling. So it doesn't make any sense to me. So to me, it's like there's some lines that are pretty good on the court side. Obviously, the money line is fine. I lean more like decision and split decision for quarter 5-1 and 14-1.
Yeah.
And he's had a full camp to learn at Darce. So, I mean, if you can do that, then you have a good shot. He's only got, I was actually on the sub versus means. That was nice.
Dude, one of my biggest regrets ever. I called it. I talked about it. I was like, you totally could do. I think I put him in one of my stupid ass parlays that never hits. So I didn't actually cash in on the sub. My buddy that was with me that night at the bar, he actually hit the sub prop solo and made money off of it. But I just had the money line on that one.
Yeah, I don't think it's like something that he's not really like proactively hunting subs or like going for them. And I think Means gave it to him, and Means is always like, that's kind of his methodology to losing. So, but I think it's the same situation in this fight. It's like, that's Kase's method. That's the way he loses. Like, this is just how he loses a lot of times. And then if it's standing, I think it could easily be a 5-1 decision is just stupid. And 14-1 by split. These guys could both have 50 or less strikes at the end of the fight, and it looked really ugly. So I just think those aren't terrible.
Damn, you're not helping, Tim. I'm trying to stay safe this week.
Man. This is one of the only ones that I think is good. Like I think it's obviously it could look horrible in hindsight if he totally gets wrestled, but I'll be really shocked if it's like 15 minutes standing and Kase is just jabbing him up and like out voluming him 1.5 or 2-1. I would be pretty shocked by that.
Dude, I'd be floored. Like I can almost guarantee that that's simply not going to happen. If Kase is winning, it's because he's hanging on his hips and like pushing him up against the fence. So, Court McGee, you guys on DraftKings, the +3.5 is +110, which makes no sense to me. So he could lose a 29-28 decision, and you're getting +110 for that 3.5 spread. I actually think that's probably a really good bet. The over 2.5 is -145. The money line +280 on Court McGee. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm looking at all of that stuff, and someone's gonna have to check BetMGM for the Darce submission exact outcome prop. We'll see what that number looks like. All right, guys. Next up, you've got Rodolfo Balato taking on Paul Craig, and I gotta just say I appreciate the matching of the energy here. Balato going out there with his face paint on, knowing full damn well that Paul Craig is going to come out in his. One of the most hysterical weigh-ins we've ever seen. I wish I had the clip queued up. Paul Craig tries to rip his shirt, fails miserably, completely forgets to like, cut it just a little bit so that it rips easily. So he's up there like fighting with the damn thing, and it's like he's got a wet balloon that just refused to get off of him. Really funny. He eventually gives up, and we got a crazy eye stare down like you've never seen before, man. This was fantastic. Paul Craig back up at 205, I think, is probably a good move. I feel like he's one of these guys that was he's not a big muscly type guy. He was never going to muscle guys around at 205, but I feel like he was almost killing himself a little bit to get down to 185, and he wasn't really muscling people around at 185 either, so it didn't really help him, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I kind of think it's Balato bonk. I just don't trust Paul Craig's chin. He's old now. This fight is going to be violent, in my opinion, and I think Balato is super low level, so this is exactly the kind of guy that absolutely could get caught by Paul Craig. So +320 on Paul Craig. I kind of like the TKO. I mean, I know if Paul Craig gets like knocked down and goes to his back, we got arm bars and knee bars and all that kind of stuff. So the sub at +700 is always in play. But the Paul Craig KO TKO at 14-1, we know he likes to get on top of people and just elbow them to hell. I could see him hitting a reversal, or, if he lands a spinning back fist or something like that and he ends up being the one on top, I absolutely could see him getting it done via TKO. So I guess the inside the distance at +500, not nearly as sexy, but if you're going to play Paul Craig, that's probably the way to go. I feel like you could parlay up the fight doesn't go the distance at -350 if that's something you really felt like doing. But again, chalky outcome. Balato by knockout, -150 kind of seems like the way things are probably going to go.
Yeah, I think Balato knocks him out most likely in rounds 1 or rounds 2. I would just take rounds 1 and rounds 2 alone instead of KO 1 and KO 2, just in case.
You think he can sub him?
I think that these fighters are just like, they just try to prove that they can do shit, and that's why we honestly, they just really do. Like they go out and it's like it's a complete like ego fest. Like, so they're just they're trying to prove, okay, I can sub this dude who's subbed everybody and sub the champ, and I can do that as well. And he'll probably try. It would probably be more of a, like a give up his back type situation, because I'm sick of getting pounded out. But yeah, I think that Balato seems like the type of mentality and type of dude, if you look at him, that's just like, oh, I don't want to bet on this guy to take the path of least resistance. He's going to probably try to take this guy down or knock him down, go into his guard, and then try to get a submission as well. We're all like, just pound him out. What are you doing?
Yeah,
but,
just throw.
Yeah, I think it's most likely a KO, but I would not be shocked if he tries to like get a rear naked choke or something stupid here.
No, that's fair, man. That's absolutely fair. Oh my God, what a shit show. And that's the prelims, you guys. We've got over 460 people watching live. Do us a favor, hit that like button while we roll into the main card for UFC Atlanta here on the Undefeated Post Weigh-In Show. Next up, you've got Alonzo Menifield taking on Umar C. 206 on the dot for both of these men. Man, I like Umar C. He looks like he's filled out really well. Good frame for the weight class. I like the game plan. I like the skill set. Looking good on the scales. Alonzo Menifield, atomic himself. I just cannot seem to get this guy right. Every time I decide I'm going to take a Hail Mary shot on this guy, he gets whooped the way I think he should, generally speaking. And then whenever I think, oh, this is easy peasy, he's going to get knocked out, he's going to get subbed, it's going to be light work, he somehow manages to pull off a victory. Like, he only wins when he's not supposed to, in my book. We've got another significant size difference here, but Alonzo Menifield, we're just kind of used to seeing that at this point. He's always a bit shorter. He's always a bit stockier. Man, this sets up exactly like my guy Juicebox last fight out for Alonzo Menifield, in my opinion. C should be able to shove this guy around. C should be able to lean on this man. He should be able to make him tired. And then when Menifield eventually slows down, round 2 sub, round 3 sub. Like, that's the only way I can look at this thing. It's got to be Umar C getting it done. But my God, like, I'm so tired. The split decision with Juicebox last time out absolutely crushed my soul. I don't want to be anywhere near another Alonzo Menifield fight, which means he's probably, it's going to go exactly like I predicted, Tim, because I'm not betting it, because I have zero investment on it. It will go exactly the way I'm saying it will. So enjoy that, you guys. I'll stay off so that you can avoid the curse. Tim, how do you think this fight plays out? What's the move here?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, Alonzo Menifield is an absolute Jekyll and Hyde type fighter. Like, you just you absolutely do not know what you're going to get. Like, just if you think, every time that you think like, all right, dude, I want to bet on this fight, and then you go, all right, let's watch the William Knight fight back. And you're like, no, I can't put money on this guy. Like, ever, like never. And then he goes out and he beats Dustin Jacoby.
How did that happen?
Like, he hits him like two times really hard, and he's getting out volume 2.5 to 1, and then he connects twice and really hurts him, and the judges are like, that wins the round. So yeah, it's he's tough to fight. He's tough to bet against. He's tough to bet with. So it's just one of those fighters where I just usually try to stay away from his fights in general. C, to me, I feel like his striking is a work in progress. He is way, way bigger and way longer in this fight, but I just think that it's, like you said, he wants to grapple, and he wants to get the fight to the ground. He wants to cage push. And I just think it's not easy to do that against Menifield in general. Unless he's like exhausted. There's been like really, really good fighters that have not had very much success trying to do that. Jimmy Crute, like just a bunch of guys that are just really, really excellent fighters that don't have a ton of success getting them down. And if they do, it's hard to hold them down. So, but that being said, like, I think it's probably like C round 3 or points. Like, I just think maybe he gets him late. I really don't have super confidence in this one, because I think it could go. I think if you're betting, Alonzo to KO him in like, early or something like that, that's fine. If he that's a lot of times that's his win condition. But I really don't have tremendous confidence in how I think this fight's going to go. I think C being lined this heavily is a little bit dangerous, to be honest. Like, it's just, I think Zoe can do different things to different guys and make them feel super uncomfortable, especially if they can't get their games off.
Yeah, man, for sure. I feel kind of the same way. I've been hyped about a couple of prospects recently, and they've just let me down so hard. These grappling based guys that are coming in here that I feel like should just run through people, and then they end up in split decisions or they get rocked in round one and they're not quite the same guy. That I'm with you. So I'm scared. It's Umar C. It's got to be Umar C. What do you make of the total here, though? 1.5, over 1.5 minus 160. Is that like a sneaky little, like we could squeeze up and over that 1.5 in this spot?
I think it's dependent on if, like, does Zoe come out just completely full rabies mode or not? Yeah. Like, if Zoe doesn't come out like full rabies mode, the over seems really good. Like,
does he hang out with that Gustafsson guy?
Yeah, right. I mean, but even like, I don't know. To me, that's like I think that's a one of the better plays, to be honest. Like, because it's not like C's just coming out there and just pummeling dudes striking. Like, it would, for him to get like a super, super early finish. And it's not like Benefield can't take a shot. Like, he can take a shot. Like, the only time that he got instantly bonked is when he just ran face first into Carlos Ulberg. It's like, okay, a lot of guys get knocked out by Carlos Ulberg, and he went with absolutely like defensively irresponsible running forward with his chin up. Like, that
was the night I bet him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you just never know.
Like, bro, what?
Like, you never know what he's going to do. Like, if he's going to, like, okay, is he trying to run forward to strike there? Is he trying to run forward to clinch him and take him down? Like, what is his game plan? Like, you never really know. This dude is a box of chocolates.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's perfect, man. Alonzo Menifield to win by split decision is 25-1. Umar C to win by split decision is plus 900. Action Jackson in the chat was asking what those odds were. So there you go, man. If you want to play those split decision props, you, my friend, have fun. You go for it. C round 3 is plus 650.
That's terrible.
C by decision is plus 225, which, I mean, for a minus 675 favorite, getting plus 2 something anywhere is probably okay. But like I said, I kind of lean towards the sub. I think eventually he wears out Menifield enough to tap him out. The one thing, though, I want to say, this is the type of fight where you could get that fluky TKO, because Alonzo Menifield has no neck. So C is going to look for chokes, but he might end up just like flattening him out and like elbowing him to hell from top position. So you can't even really trust the sub is going to be the one that happens, because it's very difficult to submit a guy like Alonzo Menifield, just physically speaking. So the inside the distance is minus 175, and that's gross too. Let's move it along. Next fight up, we've got the return of the king, man. Cody freaking Brundage, 186 pounds, looking phenomenal on the scale. I saw that his son, Zachary Reese, is following in daddy's footsteps and going to Turkey to get that hair transplant. So bald Zach Reese, he's going to get his aura back next time you guys see him in the cage. His opponent here, Mansour Abdul-Malik. There was never a question of aura with this man. No need for the hair transplant either. Looks fantastic on the scales today. They actually size up surprisingly well. I kind of thought Mansour was going to have a much larger advantage in this fight, man. I kind of in my brain just imagined Mansour to be this towering monster. I keep forgetting that Cody Brundage is actually a pretty decently sized large man himself. And guys, I would be remiss. I have a job to do here, okay? I am supposed to give you guys the best, most actionable information possible. And the number one betting angle in MMA today is Cody Brundage, round 1, KO, TKO, or DQ. It simply prints money, you guys. And that's not me talking opinionatedly. That's not me making shit up. I'm not bullshitting you. That is straight up facts. In 4 of Cody's last 5 fights, I shit you not, this thing has cashed. If you want to go all the way back to when he fought freaking, who's the grappler guy that he was, why am I blanking out on his name? Let me get his Tapology page up here, because I'm absolutely struggling for some reason. Malkoun, when he fought Malkoun. And Tim, he's getting TKO'd by Jacob Malkoun, a guy with negative power in his hands. Like, that guy doesn't TKO anybody, and Cody Brundage is going to get TKO'd. He got DQ'd in round 1, and we cashed a 20-1 ticket in that spot. He legitimately KOs Zach Reese in round 1, and I want to say it was like 8-1 that night because, you know, the KO was live, obviously, but the round one is always pretty juicy. Nothing happens in the Bo Nickel fight. The Abdul Razak Al Hassan fight, frankly, the UFC was tired of his shit. And if they weren't, that would have cashed that night too. They called it a no contest instead. I was a little sad because my round one DQ fight bet got refunded to me instead of being cashed. But I want to say it was 12-1 that night. And then again, he cashed it against Julian Marquez. Now that night, I stayed clear the hell away from it. I actually thought Julian was going to win that fight. But it's cashed in 3 of his last 5. It should have cashed in 4 of his last 5. So believe it or not, it is legitimately a free rolling type of angle for people out there if you're betting this prop. I think Mansour destroys Cody. Like with the first punch landed, I think Cody is going to go full fetal and just curl up in a ball and go away. However, we can't ignore the fact that this guy is still relatively untested in the UFC. Cody does have a path to victory with grappling, and he has jumped guillotine on guys before. So at plus 550, if you want to get out there and get fluky, one last ride with Cody Brundage. For me, I think it's Mansour KO, which is minus 350. So what? Round 1 KO or round 1 in general is plus 100 even money for Mansour. I think the under 1.5, you and I kind of chatted about this one a little bit. It's minus 200, but I think it hits. Like, Cody doesn't survive round 1 ever. If he wins, it's only in round 1. He's a horrific nail, Tim. He's a really good hammer when he ever is the hammer. It's not very often, but when he is, he's a good hammer. And then he's just the worst nail you've ever seen. So yeah, I think this is a round 1 fight, man.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I don't have very much to add except for Cody. Cody's probably the luckiest round 1 KO type dude I've ever seen, honestly. Like, it's one, like you said, one is a DQ, one he's being armbarred and he just slams the guy. Another one, like, he gets a ref that gives him a mouthpiece when he's just completely concussed and stops the fight. And then
I couldn't believe that. It was over.
Three really shouldn't. Like, I mean, like, it's just comical that they all hit for you. So I'm happy that you're hitting, but they're pretty funny.
It was really funny because the first time I legitimately told people, I was like, okay, guys, look, I'm betting this, and everyone laughed at me, but I went, make sure you're getting it on DraftKings or on MGM where the DQ is involved. I said, guys, this is going to be a DQ spot. Like, he's going to turn his head away. He's going to expose the back of his neck and his head because he does that in every single fight. So if there's ever an option, he could actually pull off a disqualification against this kind of a fighter, somebody nobody gives a shit about, right? The UFC actually pulled that shit off, and I talked about it. I've got the clips from the podcast where I talked about it. Well, then I'm free rolling at 20-1. Why would I not sprinkle it the next couple of times? I can't stand Zach Reese. I think he's a complete bum. I was willing to fade him, no questions asked. And then the fight with Abdul Razak, same thing. You know, it's the DQ angle for that one, right? So, like, it's just been kind of the perfect little run for me to have hit that first one and then just kind of keep sprinkling it as we go. I unfortunately think the glory days are going to be coming to an end this week. The UFC is not going to let Mansour get a DQ loss on his record. That ain't happening. This kid is an absolute stud that they want to get behind. They'll no contest it before they give him the DQ, unfortunately. But you guys have got to know, like, that's what Cody does. When he's getting popped, he literally turns his head away and exposes the back of his head. And it's up to the striking fighter to recognize, oh, I can't punch him in the back of the neck. So it's live, man. It could happen. It shouldn't happen, but it could happen. Shout out Groundskeeper. What's going on, buddy? Really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the donation. I'm glad you're here watching the show with us today. Share the DM. What DM? What DM? Groundskeeper, what DM? I don't know what DM you're talking about. Did you DM me? Is it on Instagram? I need more details, buddy. All right. Next up, we have got Hani Barcelos, and he's taking on Cody Garbrandt. 136 on the dot for both people. Now, this week, there is no sharp action report because it's not that kind of a card. Usually we do that for the pay-per-views. But I checked in with our boy Andrew from Superbook Sports. He said the only notable, respectable action that he's gotten this week was on the old man, Ronnie Barcelos, early in the week at much better numbers. Do with that information what you will. Looks like he's on his way back from Turkey as well. His hair filling out a little bit there up on top. And then you've got poor life decisions Cody Garbrandt, who is rocking what? mullet cornrows with the eye tattoo. Like, what is this guy doing? He's got a size advantage here. Man, this one's tough because my immediate gut reaction, Tim, is that Ronnie Barcelo should absolutely wreck this man. He's a shell of himself. He is chinny. Like, what do we do with that? But at the same time, then I kind of sat back and was like, you know what? We have seen Cody go out there and like fancy foot his way to decision wins before. We've seen him stick and move and jab and run away and survive and just be the better athlete. And I'm like, damn, do I really want to be laying this kind of chalk on Ronnie? Because we saw him grapple once, something he refused to do in his fights before that. This is kind of dog or pass to me at this point. It feels like this number is really blown out. I could absolutely see Ronnie Barcelos tagging Cody Garbrandt and putting him in the grave because his chin is that bad. But I also very, very much can see Cody Garbrandt winning a decision in this fight and just dancing around this guy because he's got better footwork and he's too quick for him and he can't touch him and doing whatever it takes to get the win. So, yeah, man, for me, it's dog or pass at plus 205. Cody Garbrandt's kind of got my attention, believe it or not.
Yeah, this is a tough one to call for me as well. I think, like you said, I mean, one of my passions is losing money on Barcelos by sub, just expecting him to grapple guys that he has an advantage. And then, you know, he finally gets it and he finally hit it against Quinones. And I had it there because I was just martingaling that bet just could not miss it. And I would kill myself if I missed it. But even in that Quinones fight, like he was not getting takedowns easily. Like, and Quinones is not a good grappler and good wrestler. It was really tough for him to get takedowns in that fight. And then he gets, after Quinones gasses, he basically gets the takedown and he gets the back and he subs him. So it's just, to me, it's one of those situations where I feel like that was like a warning sign for me to like future, just like, okay, this guy, you know, if he's struggling to grapple him, and then as we know, like MMA is just the biggest bitch of all time with volatility and variance. And then the next fight, you know, he comes out and he's absolutely grapple fucking Peyton Talbot and cashing like gigantic numbers. So to me, it's always hard to figure out what you're going to get from these guys. I do feel like Talbot showed, obviously he knew going into that fight, like if he stands with this guy, he's going to get massacred. So to me, I think that there's a durability edge on Barcelos. Obviously, I think the speed striking is Garbrandt. I think the volume edge is to Barcelos. So this is like, I'm going to go against the grain here and go ends by split at like plus 500. Garbrandt split is plus 1600. I think that if the fight goes, I think it could be greasy. I think if somebody gets a finish, it's probably a KO probably from Barcelos. Honestly, I think Garbrandt could knock him out too. I mean, that's typically what he's had is huge power. I think Barcelos getting knocked out by Umar. I think Garbrandt's power is significantly bigger in his hands than Umar's. So I think this fight could go a bunch of different ways, but I'll go against my, you know, like the narrative of this fight finishing and the lines, you know, ends by split plus 500 is not bad for me. I think if the fight does go, I think it's probably a greasy decision. And I think 5-1 and 16-1 on Garbrandt split is not bad.
Okay. Man. Yeah, I'm kind of having the same go back and forth as you are here on this one. And you know, I'm Team Umar, but that knockout is a little sus because he just doesn't knock people out. However, I also still think it was kind of that whole, the shot that you don't see coming hurts you the worst type of thing. He just hit it perfectly behind the knee. Umar's not going to be doing that to people more often than not. It just landed perfectly on an older guy that never saw it coming. So yeah, I'm with you. Cody Garbrandt definitely has more power than someone like Umar. Unless he does that weird duck and fake thing that he did against Rafael Assunção, like I don't know that people, I don't know that he's going to catch something here where Hani just doesn't see it coming. So like, yeah, he could knock him out cold. I think the sneaky plus 550 here by decision prop on Cody is kind of fun. That's something I might be playing. The over 2.5 is another one where minus 130 over 2.5 maybe might get a little, sweaty, clinchy butthole because it doesn't look like it's going to go a couple times and old guys and bad chins. But I really could see this one go in the full 15 as well. Shout out real quick to Groundskeeper, you guys. I'm all messed up in my DMs here. When you guys, by the way, just side tangent here, Tim, I promise I'll keep it short. When you guys have different names on different platforms, you got to let me know who you are, because it is impossible when someone's like, yo, I talked to you over here, and it's like, but over here your name's this, and over here your name's that. Like, I'm gonna have no idea who you are on another platform. I get a lot of DMs. I apologize, but no, Groundskeeper is freaking awesome. He let me know some stuff about Paul Craig that he did want me to go ahead and share with you. 90% of the time, if I get, info, DMs, stuff like that, I do not share that with people. I like to keep that, private, unless they, tell me it's okay, or it's from like a legitimized source or something like that. Paul Craig up at 205 pounds. He was on a vegan diet. People forget that Paul Craig, for like 15 years, was like a vegan diet and had to cut down to get to 185. So he's thinking that that's a big, big thing in this fight, where he's back up at 205 and has changed his diet around and things like that. Probably going to be a little bit more durable than people are expecting. He's a fan of the live dog shot on Paul Craig, which I'm rooting for. I'm tempted on myself. All right, guys, let's keep it rolling. Next up, weird one, man. Not like the rest of the card hasn't been. Edmund Shabbazian takes on Andre Petroski. Petroski at 186, filled out as fuck. This guy, I cannot believe, an absolute mountain of muscle. He is jacked. And then you have got one of the most pale men in the UFC, Edmund Shabbazian. Looks good on the scales today. No problem there whatsoever. Shabbazian does have a slight height and reach advantage. And man, much like Alonso Menafield, Petroski is a guy that I've struggled with. I really felt like I was kind of catching my groove on Andre Petroski. I bet on him. He was actually my dog of the week when everybody was fading him when he was up at elevation, but he was fighting
Sorry, that was the last time I was on your pod. I remember that vividly.
Yeah, dude, I felt so smart. That was one of those ones where I was like, bam, like everybody on Josh Fremd. No. Fremd is trash. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to flip on him here. I'm going to come right back with Dylan Budka. I know Dylan Budka's trash too, but he's going to out wrestle this guy. He made Dylan Budka look bad. And then I thought, you know what? That's 2 in a row. No way he goes 3. Adolfo is going to make this man look silly on the ground. Well, I kind of felt like Adolfo maybe should have gotten the decision, but at the end of the day, he didn't look out of place in that fight. He was getting the better of the striking exchanges. Like at 34 years old, this terrible striker with bad gas is somehow pulling off these wins, and he's cost me money. So I can't seem to get this guy right. And now, Tim, we've had a massive line movement here. An absolute bomb has been dropped on this man coming into the weigh-ins today. Petroski is all the way down to plus 120. So Edmund Shabbazian, minus 140 right now, your favorite. I think this is your classic Edmund fight. I don't know how else you break down this guy's fights. He either knocks you out in round 1 or he loses. That's all it goes. And he's fighting a grappler, which the UFC is just, man, I swear, it's like they were trying to give him training wheels. They're like, hey, learn how to fight this type of fighter. And now it's like purgatory, that they're just like, no, you're forever going to fight guys that can choke you. If you can't take them out in round 1, we're going to give you every single grappler we've got on the roster. So that's what we're dealing with here. It's Andre Petroski by sub, or it's Edmund by KO. This fight is not going the distance. I do think this is another under 1.5 type of situation. It's actually plus money, which confuses me a little bit. I know Petroski in theory could like wrestle his way to a decision. He's done it before, frankly. But Edmund is so helpless on the ground that I feel like if Petroski is on top of you for that long, he will find a finish at some point. Pick your poison, guys. This is one of these gross ass fights. Tim, which side do you land on?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, this is like classic round 1 to round 2. Like the first 7 minutes, Edmund can easily just nuke this dude. Like it's really, really easy for me to see like KO1 Edmund, and then even like slight. If you're betting Edmund, I would do like 80% of my bet on KO1, 20% of my bet on KO2, just to play a little bit safer, and then like 19-1 on sub 2 and round 2 for Petroski, for like just his round 2 prop and his sub 2, and then very small on his round 3 and his sub 3. Like, I mean, like there's better grapplers. You're taking like Fluffy versus Edmund in round 1, and it was not easy getting him down. Like he lost round 1 against Edmund. So like, and obviously Fluffy cooks guys and, kills them later with cardio and all that shit. But like he knows how to
doesn't have that kind of gas.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and my point is that he was stuffing takedowns easily and hurting Fluffy on the feet. Like, there's just no way that, like, I just don't think that Petroski's going to be able to take those shots. Like, if he's stuffing takedowns and throwing like the type of power and volume that he normally does in round one, I think it really should be a KO one for Edmond. I think it's a classic. Also, like, the books know what they're doing when it comes to live betting. They're doing a lot better in live betting, but this is still a situation where it's going to be like round one. You just take Edmond at minus 160, and then you go, all right, I could bet this for a bunch. I could bet this for 3 units, and then hit the other side at 3-1 and 3 minutes into the fight. Petroski, if things go like they should, Petroski should be plus 300 after 3 minutes or 4 minutes. If he's not,
yeah, it's true. And man, he's so bad standing. Like, I'm sorry, I can't. This line crashing, I get it. You know, it's like when people used to bet the Browns all the time, even when they lose every single Sunday. Like, people are gonna scoop up a number that looks bad. But I really feel like this is a fight that Edmond should win. And the lower this number gets, the more enticed I am to actually take a shot on Edmond Shabbazian. Shout out Porco Rosso. What's going on? He says laws don't apply to pigs. Well, I love your little what is it, the profile picture there, man. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate the donation. I'm not sure who the pig is here on this show, probably me. So the laws don't apply to me this week. We're gonna go ahead and cash some tickets this week. Appreciate you watching, man. Thank you very much for the donation. Next fight up, you guys, we've got your co-main event. Miranda Maverick takes on Rose Namajunas in one of the weirdest fights. I keep saying it, Tim, but it keeps being true, man. She looks good. Miranda Maverick looks solid. We all know she's very bulky, very strong, also very short, though. Rose, she seems to have filled out okay-ish at this weight class. She was definitely very, very skinny and slim at 115. That weight class, I think, made more sense for her, but she's making it work up here at 125. She is the taller, longer fighter, and this is an intense face-off. These two decided to go ahead and fight after training together. What in the world is going on? That was kind of the biggest thing to me, man, is that I don't know. I hate these teammate fights unless I feel like I've got like a 99% sharp read on, because when you get the teammates fighting, one of those teammates knows. You know what I mean? It's not a question mark. One of them thinks they've got the edge. The other one knows they've got the edge. And I feel like that plays out in every single one of these gym rivalry type situations where the one that was kind of taking it easy on their buddy in the gym, they just let everybody know on fight night. So one of these women is going to have a significant advantage in this fight, and I don't know who. I kind of feel like it's Rose, because Miranda Maverick went to go and train with her. This feels like a Gilbert Burns, Kamaru Usman situation. Like, Burns went to go learn how to wrestle from Usman, and then when they fought, he thought that would be enough, and he got smoked. That's kind of how I feel like this is going to go, man. I kind of lean towards Rose Namajunas in this spot, but I kind of don't like the price tag. Her recent form has not been great. She kind of feels like she's almost a little bit checked out. She's really turned into a decisionator, which for someone as spectacular as Rose has been over the course of her career kind of bothers me. And Maverick is just a weasel. She's going to grapple you. She's going to grind you. She's going to slow you down. She's hard to finish. So, like, I don't want to lay chalk on Rose by decision, but I think that's how the fight goes. What do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would disagree with is I think that in these fights where fighters share the same camp and they've trained together, like, I've coached professionally tennis for like 20 plus years now. They both know who's going to win.
That's probably fair.
It's not like it's a lot of times if they're training long enough, I mean, they know, like, both, like, okay, I'm pretty screwed here, and the other one knows, unless you're saying that one is kind of sandbagging and not showing their hand very much. I don't think that really happens as often. I think it's more they're showing them that they're better striking. They're showing them, they're teaching them certain things, but they're like, I am better in these areas, and I know where I have edges, and it's probably a little bit less variance in those situations because of that. I think I lean Rose like you do as well. I don't think that this is a fight that matchup wise is really good for Maverick. I think that Rose has actually not looked terrible in her last few fights. Like, I think that she kind of gassed out against Aaron in rounds 3, 4, 5, but she was up in the first 2 rounds, like, unanimously. So I just feel like she got taken down. I think against Ribas, people expected her to maybe KO her, but like in the grappling exchanges against Ribas, she was always getting on top. Like she was she was able to figure out how to get on top. That's the other thing too about Rose that I don't really get like the narrative on her is like, oh, she's like some striking savant. Like she started off being a grappler. Like she started off like being a slick ass grappler. So like that's where her base was. And the fact that she, gets a head kick KO on Weili, and the fact that she gets a 2-piece or 4-piece combo on Joanna, and everybody's like, oh, dude, she's a striking. This is her base. Like it's not her base. Her base is grappling. Like her base is nasty jiu-jitsu and slick ass jiu-jitsu. So, that's where I think that she's done better against certain fighters like Ribas, where she's trying to get on top. And I mean, even she was able to get takedowns against Weili. And that's literally what won her the fight. Like against Weili in round 5 is her being able to take her down. So I also think like the wrestling and strength on Miranda is overrated. And I feel like, honestly, like I'll give your perspective on it. Like, who do you think's a better wrestler, Tracy Cortez or Miranda Maverick?
Oh God. I mean, honestly, man, that's kind of tough. I've overrated Tracy Cortez a little bit, and I've always been kind of anti Miranda Maverick because she's just so plodding and slow, and I guess slight edge Miranda, maybe. Tracy's been doing a lot of boxing lately. I'm not sure. It's close.
I go the absolute opposite way. All you got to do is like the fight for me that's a gigantic one is watching Cortez fight against Jasmine Jastovicius and not being able to, like, just handling her own wrestling, not getting grapple fucked, and being able to take, handle takedown defense. And then Rose like beats her 5-2 on takedowns. Now, obviously there's more of a threat striking with Rose, but like if you're telling people like that Rose had significantly more grappling success and wrestling success than Jasmine Jastovicius, it's like, maybe she's a little bit underrated in this. This again is her base. Like this.
That's fair.
I feel like she did that to Tracy. Tracy wasn't, herself maybe that fight, but to me, it's like 5-2 on takedowns, winning the fight basically with grappling. Everybody thought she was going to just tune her up on the feet, and it was going to be she's going to strike her to death. And it was actually more the opposite. It was like Tracy held her own a little bit better on the feet. So yeah, I think that this fight is a tough matchup for Miranda. I think that she's beat on the feet. She's slower. She's not as technical on the feet. She's got a less, just smaller. And then when it comes to grappling, I feel like Rose is better there too. So I think it's Rose all day. I think it's a good spot for her.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of tend to lean that way as well. The number, I don't know what it is, man. There's something about Rose that just like kind of has the heebie-jeebies out of me. And then I look at her profile and it's like, man, she's done like everything the sport has to offer. And you see people kind of burn out. She herself has talked about, burning out and like not wanting to do some of this stuff before, but maybe she's locked back in. She's only 32 years old. She's still technically in her physical prime. So she's got a ton of experience, and she's one of the nastiest women's MMA fighters we have ever seen, and still has years of competition ahead of her if she's still in it. You know what I mean? So yeah, this could be a really cheap price on Rose in hindsight if she puts it all together.
I totally agree.
Right. Main event time, everybody. Let's freaking do this thing. We have got Kamaru Usman, and he finally returns to the cage, taking on hot contender Joaquin Buckley. And my God, there's never been a person who's more deserving of the term jacked than Joaquin Buckley. My God, this dude on the scales today, absolutely unreal. Now, Kamaru Usman, I got to say, guys, he kind of brought that aura back today. Coming out with Francis Ngannou, you've got them rolling out together, coming in here with the face paint. He is in insane shape. I know he's always in insane shape, but looked absolutely monstrous. And then the face-off, he towered over Buckley, which, Buckley's a short, stocky guy. We know this, but at 170 pounds, he's a lot more physically imposing than he was at 185. And Usman makes him look like little bro up there, man. He really does. I don't know what to make of Usman. That's all this comes down to for me. I don't know what to make of Usman. He's been fighting weird fights lately, rolling off the couch, fighting Hamzat up a weight class. I mean, like the fluke situation that we've talked about 100 million times with him losing his belt. It never should have happened. Does he even go on this losing streak if Herb Dean doesn't stand him up in round 5? Like, I don't know where he's at health-wise. He hasn't competed in 2 years. But again, he looks like he's in just ridiculous shape. You go back and you watch some of those fights with like Colby Covington and Masvidal and Burns, and his boxing is clean. I mean, he's a little slow. He's definitely slow, but his boxing is solid. And the power that he's developed, which I think, there's a reason that power came out of nowhere, but he has ridiculous power in his hands. We have seen Buckley chinned in the past. We've seen him knocked out a couple of different times. And the way this guy comes in aggressive, like, it's just a car crash, man. I think this is going to be a very violent fight. On Monday, I picked Joaquin Buckley by knockout. I kind of lean towards fight doesn't go the distance, maybe being a better option than picking a side here. But this legitimately could be a y'all must have forgot Kamaru Usman type of moment, because while Buckley is on the rise, 170 it's stacked compared to where it used to be. When Usman had the belt around his waist, there was nobody. It was him and Colby, and then they blew up a couple lightweights for them to fight because there was nobody up there. Now we've got a stacked weight class, and Buckley may be one of the lesser prospects, but he's got all the hype. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure where to put him here in this. Is he deserving of being minus 250 over a guy like Kamaru because Kamaru lost to Hamzat, of all people, up a weight class? I don't know, man. I'm saying Buckley will land that shot, and Usman's probably a little old at this point, but violence, I think, is probably a better option. The under fight doesn't go the distance, minus 130, something like that. In a 5-round title fight, I could see Usman teaching this kid a thing or two. What do you like here?
Yeah, this is a tough fight as well, because you got I do the escalators. You got one escalator going up, you got another escalator going down, and they're just kind of meeting where they at kind of deal.
Those spots are tough, man.
It's really tough. Historically, I've lost a decent amount on betting on the the former champs in these situations where you're just like, they're so much better of a fighter, and then they're just on the decline. So it's just like, they were a great fighter and they were a much better fighter, but they're not anymore. So we're betting on where they're here or where they're at right now. But that being said, dude, the fight against Chimaev, obviously round one, he gets just massacred in round one, but then he still's there. This dude is a head kick, like you're saying, a head kick KO that would knock out almost 100% of the fighters ever. Knocks him out. Outside of that, this dude has been super durable. Took the thrashing from Chimaev, outlasted him. I think if that fight went to 5, that he eventually cooks or wins a decision, or cooks in 4 and 5 versus Chimaev. He was also on short notice in that fight, and to me, it's just Buckley is not he's not. I don't think he's gonna have the Band-Aid, if I'm not striking well and I'm losing the striking, they just bully you and get takedowns like this fight. It's just the defensive wrestling. Obviously, the offensive wrestling from Usman, he's been known as one of the best wrestlers. It's his defensive wrestling that's really been great. He was only taken down. It's super rare that he gets taken down. He got taken down, obviously, by Leon, so maybe that's diminishing. His knees are like the old pedophile from Family Guy. His knees, he's obviously got old man knees.
Get your fat ass back here.
Hey, what's up, Chris? So I think that there is a chance that his knees are gone and that his wrestling is diminished a lot. But I think even if his wrestling is diminished, that he'll be able to stuff takedowns in this situation. And I feel I don't know. To me, it's. I just the only props and the only way I could go on this at this line is Usman and Usman decision, Usman by split. These 5-round fights, dude, I tend to think there's at least one of the judges is on peyote, and other judges taking from a couple week, a week prior, and they're
cooked by the end of the show, man.
100%. They're seeing a completely different fight than everybody else is. So. Yeah, the ends by split at plus 450, the Kamaru plus 550 on decision, and Kamaru I think split is 12 or 14 to 1. I would just tend to go that side, but I think it could be also Buckley losing the first, striking wise, losing the first 2 rounds to Wonder Boy is kind of same deal. It's he needed 4 or 5 takedowns. Obviously, he connects and kills him.
It was the most destructive knockout you've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, he connected, and that's obviously live with the type of power that he has, but he was losing the striking clearly to a much slower Wonder Boy that still can strike clearly, but the dude is like way, way, way slower, way more hittable than normal, and he was losing clearly the striking that fight. So I think that it is very possible that Usman could win a close decision or could win a decision in this fight, and it has to be that side for me at the line.
I hear you, man. I hear it, man. On Monday, it was kind of just a obvious, like, young man changing of the guard. Obviously, we go Buckley, but throughout the week, it's just easing on me that I'm like, man, people are not counting this as a step up, and it absolutely is. Like a shell version of freaking what's his name? American war hero who everybody hates. I can't even remember his name right now. That's so bad. Colby Covington. A shelled version of Colby Covington, and then a not a fluke KO, but like we said, a big, wow moment KO over another older fighter. It's not the same thing. Yeah, look how irrelevant Colby has become. I can't even remember his name. I'm on the Die Hard MMA podcast, and I can't remember the guy's name. He needs to hang it up. Anyway, that's the show, you guys. Thank you all very much for being here. Tim, thank you for filling in here on short notice and being here. Our boy Mushroom, of course, asking for the Lambo parlays. Tim, I know you didn't come prepared. Neither did I. So if you don't have one, by all means, you don't have to. But in honor of the Lambo Parlays podcast, I'll throw one together, you guys. I think my Hail Mary, if I end up betting anything, which, again, I have no bets this week, Tim. So if I choose to bet anything, my Hail Mary this week is probably going to look like this. Jamey-Lyn Horth by KO, which I know, starting out with a bombshell right out the gates. Ricky Simone by decision. Cody Garbrandt by decision. It's like 150 to 1. Anti-violence and big crazy shots. This is a crazy card. I'm steering into that kind of stuff. I'm not parlaying minus 350 KOs if I'm going to do something like that. Do you have a couple that you want to throw together, Tim, or are you not prepared?
I didn't get anything ready on that one.
That's fine. I figured. There you go. All you've got is mine that, I will tell you, Mushroom, if you bet $10 on my Lambo play parlay this week, you will lose $10 at plus 150. So congratulations on that. Tim, my guy, if you've got anything you want to shout out to the people and let them know where to find you or anything like that, the floor is yours. Thank you again for jumping on here with me late notice for this show.
Absolutely, man. Thanks again for having me. On X at Timothy_Triano, as you said, on with Narco, typically on Fridays for Lambo Plays podcast. And that's about it, man. Yeah, no, I appreciate being here. Enjoy chopping it up with you. Absolutely, man. Anytime. And Blood and Beer, my friend, he says, Clint, give us some picks. Don't let the haters scare you off. I want to be exceptionally clear. I'm gonna even full screen for this one, just so you guys know I'm not playing around. This has nothing to do with the haters. This is a dog shit card, and the stuff that I like is terribly priced. So that's really all it comes down to, Blood. It really is not a situation where I'm running for the hills. I don't like this card. I'm unconfident on a lot of these spots. The only things that I'm looking at that I potentially like are Jamey-Lyn Horth. Like I said, I kind of like her inside the distance a little bit. The money line is crazy. I like Ricky Simone. I kind of like that decision like I talked about. The dog shot of the week would probably be Court McGee. That could be our Link Memorial if we were going to do one this week. I kind of think Omar C wins, but again, I'm not ready to trust him at 7-1. The Cody Brundage must play. No, the under 1.5 in that fight, I actually do kind of like. I might play that. Cody Garbrandt, the over 2.5. Edmund Shabbazian, Rose Namajunas, violence in the main event. Like, that's where I'm looking. That's where my head's at. But again, absolutely none of those do I love. And I know I've been wrong a lot lately, but I at least liked the bets I was making. I don't know that I'm going to go out and throw a bunch of money around when I don't like anything on the board. So we'll see. I will post if I play, as always. So check your social medias. You guys will be around. Thank you one more time to Tim. That'll do it. Good luck tomorrow at UFC Atlanta, you degenerates. Love you guys. Stay safe out there. Let's roll.